let us consider this as to be a punching press. I don't want to go into all the points, and actually I prepared everything, but we don't have time to see all that. So look at this diagram here. Actually, it is a slider crank mechanism. The workpiece is here. Okay, the die is placed, and the punch comes and hits the workpiece. It gets deformed, or a hole is created, whatever. Okay, now the punch travels from, let us say, the punch maximum, it goes up to here, and then it comes up to here. This is your bottom dead center, top dead center. Okay, in this, if you look, for almost 80 to 85% of the time, your tool is not touching the workpiece. Okay, only for a short span of time your tool is touching the workpiece, and the work done here is calculated in terms of shear energy of the material. Okay, let us take a plate. I'm going to create a hole like this. I'm going to punch a hole like this. So the sheared area is shaded here. What is the sheared area? Circumference into thickness. The surface area, inside surface area of the hole is actually where work is being done by the tool. That much energy. So if you know the per millimeter square, what is the energy required to shear this material, you can find out the energy required to punch a hole. Clear? So with that, and one more thing, this plate is placed on the punch. Now my tool is coming and hitting the plate. I'm going to create a hole. So much of energy is required. So now I'm calculating how much energy is required. Now this energy is not going to be uniform. For almost 80% of the time, your punch is traveling from top to bottom. Okay, my tool is here. Tool goes up. I take this plate out and I keep the new plate for putting hole. Now it comes down, and finally in the last few seconds only it touches the workpiece. Only during that short span of time, work is being done, which requires the entire energy required. You have calculated. Now, to do this, actually, when you do a problem, you will fully understand this. If you find out the power required and do it and put a motor, you will have a very large motor, okay, which is not economical. So this is how you find out the energy required. Shear area sheared into ultimate strength or shear strength of the material. Okay, so pi dt into tau. Tau is the shear strength. Pi dt is the area shear, surface area. Right? It is assumed that the hole is punched, the shear force decreases uniformly. Right? So all these things we will skip. I don't think it is required. One thing you have to remember, when in the crank rotation, 360-degree crank rotation, I have shown you a punch press, right, in the beginning on diagram. So slider crank, the tip of the slider crank is having a tool, it is working on the material. For majority of the revolution of the crank, workpiece is not touched by the tool. Only during this short span of time, the entire energy you need will be, suddenly the energy demand will come. Remaining time, there is no load on the machine. Suddenly your load will come. So this sudden load requirement, if I calculate the energy required, let us say one full rotation takes 5 seconds in a machine. So to make a 360-degree, it takes 5 seconds. Actually, the workpiece touching time is 0.5 seconds. Okay, if you understand like this, if your punch can work all the 5 seconds on the material, the rate of energy requirement is very less, because the entire energy required, let us say 500 watts energy is required. Okay, if this for cutting a hole on the material, if 500 watts hole is required and 5 seconds is taken for one full revolution, you will actually need a 100-watt motor only. Okay, this is just an example, 100 watts only. But actual contact time is very less. Remaining time is idle. Therefore, what will happen? This is 0.5 seconds. You will require a 1000-watt motor. Is it really possible to go for such a high-rated motor? It is not really practically, what to say, it is not practically economical to go for such a high-rated motor. So what I do, actually I put a very small motor. These all the time when my motor is free, I run a flywheel. Okay. So now when I am touching the material, this flywheel will help the motor and create the hole. Clear? That is the basic idea of punch press problem. So whenever you are spinning the motor without load, the motor is made to spin a heavy flywheel. So now actual work is getting done in the just 0.5 seconds. During that, the motor is not enough to do the work, because I am putting a very small motor. At that time, this much amount of energy stored in the flywheel will come to my help and help me in creating the hole, which makes my motor rating very small and saves a lot of energy consumption. Clear? This is how you use a flywheel in a punch press. Right? The formula and all the problematic things is very easy. Problem is very easy. Only thing is you have to understand the use of the flywheel in a punch press. So you are storing the energy. If you want only certain amount, some 1,000 watts of energy is required to create a hole, and the contact of workpiece is a very short span, 0.1 seconds only the actual hole drilling process, punching process takes place. You need a motor which can give out 1,000 watts in 0.1 seconds, which will be 10,000 watts. It is not possible. Then you need a very large current connection, large wiring, all the problems will come, high electricity bill will come. So what you are going to do, this much amount of time I am idle, so I am going to take my small motor, 1,000 watt motor, 1 kilowatt motor, and I am going to spin a flywheel during all this time. And when I am touching the workpiece, my motor will not give sufficient energy to create the hole. At that time, this flywheel will help me with the stored energy. So that is your punch press flywheel application. So that I think there is no need for further explanation in this. This one formula I have to see. It's very formula. It's not very